Howdy folks, welcome to the gaming news. First on the list is somber news that Microsoft's level creation program Project Spark has unfortunately gone offline for good. In a statement, Microsoft declared that the project has now been cancelled, but no developers who worked on the project will lose their jobs as the transition for them has been gradual and not immediate. Project Spark was supposed to be the flagship property for the Xbox One and was originally announced back at E3 2013. The game would function as a giant toolbox of assets for players to mess around with and generally think up cool contraptions, maps and game modes for it, very similar to Halo Reach's Forge mode. Sadly, it seems that Project Spark is no more. This will upset many of the fans of it, including our boy Ethan here, but the game was indeed a project, as with its namesake, an idea thrown out for the gaming audiences that just didn't seem to catch the traction it was hoping for. So rip in peace Project Spark, you will be missed. You may remember a while back about the fall of the games publishing giant THQ back in 2013. A sad time for all of us, but a lesson in how not to run a company. Well, way back when THQ went down, most of their IPs went up for auction, and the majority of those game IPs went to the pocket of Nordic Games, the developers responsible for the Darksiders series. Well, those IPs have not been sitting dormant, as 13 unknown games are now in development, and Nordic Games are now rebranding themselves as THQ Nordic, as to more affiliate themselves with their new portfolio of properties. So let's hope that THQ Nordic doesn't go the way of THQ. Lastly in the news is that after 9 years of development, the fan-made Poke project, that is Pokemon Uranium, has dropped to the delight and love of over 150 million people, and it's been taken down, so thanks Nintendo. Great job. Great fucking job, buddy. This obviously isn't the first time a fan project has been given the takedown notice. This year we also saw the demise of the 3D NES, an online browser program that can run any NES game in a 2.5 dimension, as well as the recently canned Metroid 2 remake that was taken down last week. But a quick word for any of you out there if you're planning to make a fan project for anything Nintendo owns. Don't do it. Seriously, don't do it. Just change a few names and textures around and you should be fine. But honestly, don't think for a second that anything Zelda or Mario fan related can last anything more than a few days before Nintendo's lawyers take it down. Well folks, that's me with the gaming news. Like, comment and subscribe, and if you already haven't, prepare yourself for Ethan with tech news.
Cheers CJ. Hello once again ladies and or gentlemen. First up for tech news, a team of engineers have designed and developed a temporary tattoo that can tell the user what their blood alcohol limit is. This could potentially reduce alcohol-fueled incidents like drink driving, fighting or related incidents. It works by having a drug implemented onto your skin, causing it to sweat where the tattoo is on the skin. Then an electric reader sends data with Bluetooth to your smartphone, which displays the blood alcohol limit. This technology is more accurate than breathalyzers and less invasive than a finger blood prick. Plus, you get a temporary sweet tat. Engineers who created this hope that the removable tattoos will assist people to keep track of how much they are consuming. Also, bartenders can see how much customers have had and know when too much is too much. Maybe one day they might have laws where repeat offenders of drinkers have to wear one whenever they drive. Those engineers are still developing better devices and they hope to increase the lifespan of the temporary tattoo over 24 hours. Alright, so a lot of people have been wondering what the Australian government have been doing, investing a lot of money into new military vehicles. Well, I can tell you about one of them vehicles, the F-35 stealth fighter jet. Sounds awesome, right? Because it is. This beautifully designed single-seat, fully automatic with advanced system stealth fighter jet can reach speeds of 1900 km per hour, all while remaining undetected by modern-day radar. This Beaut can carry out missions across the world to highly defended targets without even being spotted, and even if they drop bombs with full precision, they can still remain hidden. Perhaps my favourite thing about this jet is the next-gen situational awareness system. Basically, the pilot wears a helmet that allows the pilot to look through any part of the jet, and a 360-degree camera coverage which interacts with the helmet visor to look like a seamless picture. It gets better. Schmidt, an experienced pilot, said, Flying and landing this jet is amazing. It's super easy to fly, and the engineers and designers of this jet wanted to make sure we could focus on what was really important, which is the tactical aspect. So if I want to say, I don't know, fly at this altitude, at this airspeed, or I want to go from this point to this point, then I can take my hands off the controls and the jet will do exactly what I asked it to. That's all we have today for Tech News. Now to Davis with the entertainment news.
G'day everyone, Davis here with entertainment. First up, we have some sad news for all of us Star Wars fans. Kenny Baker, the man who brought the little robot R2-D2 to life, has passed away at the age of 81. Thanks to the advancement in technology, R2-D2 doesn't need a person inside of it in order to operate. However, the 3-foot 8-inch actor hopped inside of R2 during the filming of the original trilogy, and even all of the prequels. He even had a small role in The Force Awakens. Baker also got to play an Ewok in Return of the Jedi alongside his Willow co-star Warwick Davis. According to the report, the news of Baker's death was confirmed by his niece. She goes on to say, "It was expected, but it's sad nonetheless. He had a very long and fulfilling life. He brought lots of happiness to people and will be celebrating the fact that he was well loved throughout the world. We're all very proud of what he achieved in his lifetime." Baker had endured a lot, especially throughout his youth. Back then, he wasn't expected to live into adulthood. When he was a child, he was told that he probably wouldn't survive through puberty. Being a little person in those times, they didn't have a very good life expectancy. He did extremely well in his life. He was very ill for the last few years, so we had been expecting it. He had been looked after by one of his nephews, who found him on Saturday morning. Not only did Baker survive against all odds, but he helped craft one of the most epic tales in cinema history, and created a legacy for himself that would live on forever. In addition to starring in Star Wars, Baker's credits also include Labyrinth, Willow, The King and I, and Armadas. Kenny Baker will be missed. On to some DC news now, because I seriously can't get enough of superheroes. The DC Extended Universe is starting to kick into high gear. Already 3 movies in the can, and the cinematic universe is now kicking into overdrive. With the just released Suicide Squad making record-breaking numbers, and both Wonder Woman and Justice League coming next year, Warner Bros. Is now looking forward to the solo adventures of a few of their Justice League members, including Aquaman. The 2018 film will be directed by James Wan and star Jason Momoa. While little is known about the actual plot of the film, we now know who Arthur Curry will face off against. Aquaman's foe in the first solo film will be one of the greatest antagonists from the comic books, Black Manta. Black Manta has been a villain in Aquaman comics since 1967. He has gone through a few different versions throughout the years, from the tormented Arkham Asylum patient who gained superpowers as a result of experimentation, to the New 52 reboot where he didn't have any powers but a battlesuit that adapted to the ocean environment. He has always remained one of Aquaman's primary antagonists. His character did spend some time in the Belle Reve prison, and as a result, he has been involved with the Suicide Squad, which could be an interesting tie-in to the recent film. While there were some rumours that the actor/rapper Common would be playing Black Manta, these rumours have otherwise been proven false by Warner Bros. And lastly in news today, the final chapter of the Resident Evil movie saga has dropped its new trailer. The Resident Evil franchise is quite an interesting one. Starting in 2002, the franchise consistently made money at the box office, while never topping a Rotten Tomatoes score of 33. Mila Jovovich returns again as Alice, kicking ass and taking names in the post-T-Virus world. Resident Evil: The Final Chapter is said to bring the franchise full circle with the return of many of the franchise's characters from the prior movies. Many will be wondering how and why they are still making Resident Evil films. It's been 4 years since the last due to Djokovic's pregnancy in 2014. Plenty of time for fans to wander off, but somehow even that long lapse between films will most likely work to Resident Evil's advantage. Let's look at the breakdown of each film's worldwide box office compared to each film's reported budget. Resident Evil made $122 million at box office, with a $35 million budget. Apocalypse made $129 million, with a $45 million budget. Extinction, $147 million for $45 million budget. Afterlife, $296 million for a $60 million budget. And Retribution, $240 million for a $65 million budget. It's easy to see that these films make money, and each successive film has grown and taken in more and more. Can Resident Evil: The Final Chapter continue the trend, or will this only lead to Resident Evil: A New Beginning? Let's just hope that this is actually the final chapter, no? And that's going to wrap it up for today, folks. Give us your thoughts on the things that we've discussed here today, because we love hearing your feedback. Until next time, from all of us here at Awesome Productions, stay awesome.